As we enter the final round of Season 7, only one championship has been decided. The LMP2, GTE Pro, and Amp Points fights are all a toss-up. With an eye for drama, the organizers have elected to use Spa-Francorchamps to host its finale. The visits this series has made to the circuit in the past has seen wild and unusual incidents as varied as overheated tempers, pit lane blockages, and draft battles gone awry. While some points fights look safer than others, you can never count your proverbial chickens at this Belgian track. We'll see if we get one last twist in the story as we get ready to watch the final round of the Autobahn Motorcar Group's Sportscar Challenge. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth covering the LMP1 and LMP2 classes is Bill Soupzon. Keeping us up on the GTE class is Taylor Burris. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Taylor, I'm so glad they picked Spa to wrap things up. Tell our audience a bit about the track.
Of course, and welcome everyone to the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Located in Stavelot, Belgium, this beautiful 7-kilometer or 4.3-mile course opened in 1921, and actually, when it was opened in 1921, was a 15-kilometer track, one of the largest tracks in the world at the time. Currently, though, this 19-turn circuit hosts some of the biggest names in motor racing, events such as the 6 Hours of Spa, the 24 Hours of Spa, and the Belgian Grand Prix. Drivers will definitely have the time of their lives here on this beautiful and historic circuit. But let's give you, the fan, the opportunity to see what it is like to take on this tight, difficult, and challenging course.
All right, we're in the GSRC 4 GT, so let's do a lap around Spa. Coming down to La Source, this can be a good place to try and overtake, but it's very sharp in this corner. It makes the early laps when cars are bunched up a big risk to trip over each other. Plus, you might want to save your pass attempt until after this corner, because as we accelerate down the hill towards Eau Rouge, you're going to see a much better opportunity if you just show some patience. Though Eau Rouge and Radillon are marginal in the GTE cars, it's still very high speed. Make sure not to get a cut course penalty as you come over the crest, and now we hit the Kimmel Straight. Overtaking is so much easier if you just blow by them on the straight with more momentum. Plus, you've got the heavy braking down into Lacombe to help you get the job done. You won't track out fully though, because Malbody comes right after the chicane, and you've got to hold left to give yourself a nice wide arc. This is the highest part of the circuit, and now we start heading back downhill with Rivage. Passes can sometimes happen into here, but it's terribly easy to outbrake yourself. Everyone's going to be fighting some understeer with its off-camber nature, but they've also got to get set up quickly for no name. This deceptive bend catches people out frequently when the car snaps loose and they slap the barrier on the left. From here we approach Pouhon, which even with the paved runoff is kind of frightening. It's wicked fast, downhill, and has 2 apexes. Plus, if you lose it and have your car stop mid-corner, there's a good chance someone could plow into you. Finally, we're at the bottom of the valley. Vanier sees the occasional overtake, but it's really a medium-speed chicane, so outbraking your opponents is harder than you'd expect. It's also easy to get an off track on the exit by getting on the power too soon. Immediately you come up to Stavelot. This first apex can be kind of important because you obviously don't want to find yourself in the gravel. But the second one is the one that leads onto the backstretch, where if you hesitate on the power, you'll be very, very vulnerable. Even though there's some curves, none of them require lifting, so you'll be straightening them out to keep from scrubbing off speed. The real trick will be nailing Blanchimont because you can't quite take it flat out. And it'll be dangerous to let the car straddle the curb of the AstroTurf to the outside, since it'll be easy to spin it. You've got no time to rest now because you're coming up quick to the bus stop. This is a very popular place for passes, but it's also super common to blow the corner completely and wind up in the runoff. Smart drivers will make sure and stay tight to the first apex and set up a good exit onto the pit straight. But hopefully, if you've kept it all together, you've now finished a lap around Spa. You see a lap around Spa-Francorchamps when the sun is still out and you can see a little bit more of the track. And unfortunately, we're only going to be seeing mostly what the headlights light up around today's race. But we can see all of the points thanks to Bill Zahn to give us the last update of the season.
You know, the guys in the graphics department at GSRC, Andy and Jackson, were really happy. When you look at all these overlays, notice that there are no position changes. They had an easy day. You can see right there in the LMP1s, everybody holding station. That was the case for all of the classes. This one's locked up. Deep freeze. Jason DeVries is going to come home with this one. He's got 22 points in his pocket and a large 22-point lead, 42 points, too big a gap to make up. You can see the rest of the drivers that are on there as well. The most fun one probably for the fans, Lionel Duprat making his way onto the overlay, sitting down there in 5th. I think he's going to be safe as he tries to hold off. It would be Mark Wilson trying to sneak in on there. Let's look at the LMP2s. This one is interesting. The most important part is to look at Scott McGarvey's pocket point. That's the little 0 that you'll see up there by his name. As soon as we get to the LMP2s, you'll see that 0 up there, which means he's got, yes, 354 points. But he's only got a gap, which is well in reach of Billy Smith. And if McGarvey has a mistake, then you're looking at some big trouble there. The rest of the guys are pretty safe where they are. Nobody else with the run. Down to the GTEs. That is Stephen McGarvey sitting there with 18-point margin. There's Stephen. And Paul Darling has a chance at it, but his last look, oh my, has not shown up. So I think those are pretty safe. The Comet Bradley Haley too far back to make a move there. Let's go to the GTE AM standings, where you see Kevin Santana. He's got 5 points on Paul Lindsay. That one is very much still in question. The problem is where those positions that they finish, 5 points, hard to make up that much room down there when the points kind of thin out a little bit when you get down into the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 positions. Finally, let's look at the team championship. This one very much up for grabs. SRN Motorsports Black ahead of TMC Racing. Gap is only 16 points. That could go to anybody. We'll keep an eye on that. Ralton, McGarvey, and Huff against Wilson, Booth, and Hill. There you have it.
Well, that's what we're looking at as we come into it, but as we come out, we'll have a little bit more information about who comes away with each of those championships, obviously, with this being the final round. And, well, let's get you up to speed on exactly what's entailed in between here with this last of 14 rounds. 90 minutes. They're doing an endurance race to complete everything. So it's going to be a little bit of a long one for these guys. Now, they have restricted the fuel compared to what the real cars can do. So that means you can expect 2 pit stops for all 3 classes. But we understand it's a little bit tight for some of them. We'll go over that a little bit in the pre-race. They also have an incident cap of 32 incidents out there. I believe that is actually 36 incidents that they are limited to here today. And if they go over that incident limit, they will be disqualified. Easy to do here in the dark at Spa. So we'll have to watch out for it. No spare car to repair if you have any damage. So it will get tricky if you have any sort of problem running into a wall or another car. Now, Taylor, boy, these drivers are going to have a tough time figuring out their way to first, I imagine. So why don't you give us the keys to the race on how they can grope through the dark and find the checkered flag?
Of course, and speaking of the dark, that is going to be the biggest key of surviving here at night. As you can see, not a whole lot of lighting. The only lighting you see is the headlights in front of you, so drivers are going to have to be so careful driving through the dark track here tonight at Spa. Another thing is going to have to be, as always this season, with watching out for lap traffic. And this track is just so difficult to get by lap traffic as well, especially for the LMP1 and LMP2 drivers getting around the GTE. So GTE drivers are going to have to keep their eyes on what's behind them as well as forward on the track. And then finally, this is championship night for a lot of teams. So championship points will definitely be a major thought for a lot of these teams to try to close out and maybe close in on either a championship win or finishing out strong to end the season here. So that is something that drivers will need to definitely remain focused, and those are your keys to victory.
Thanks for that, Taylor. We're just watching qualifying work its way through. This is what they call the last chance qualifying, which is mixed class. Otherwise, all 3 classes have their own 15 minutes before we went live to put a time in. This is for the drivers that couldn't attend those times. I mentioned in the race details about this being a 2-stop race. Bill, those LMP1s, even though the championship is over, this is going to be a fascinating race for them with this track being so thirsty.
Yeah, you don't have to save fuel, but you do have to save fuel. We think that you're okay on 2 of the stints. We figure a stop is going to be about 15 laps. And that the race 45 laps, 15 laps a stint, you should be okay. You got to get one 16 lap in there, as they have to go 15, 15, and another 16, which would be 46 laps. That's how we think it goes out. So you may want to think, well, wait a minute. How about just doing a 3-stop with the configuration here today, with a pit lane that's longer than Inagata Davida, you just don't want to take that third stop because you'll be in pit lane forever.
Looking through our championship scenarios, I see that, do my eyes deceive me? Is Paul Lindsay here now? Oh, wait, no, that's for the AM Championship. Excuse me, I was thinking the Pro Championship, we had our other rival. We're looking for Paul Darling to show up. So different Paul. Regardless, Steve McGarvey, Taylor, he's gotten one championship when it was the GT1 class. Now it's switched over to the GTEs. He's oh so close. It's looking like it's basically all he has to do is start the race today.
Pretty much. I mean, Stephen McGarvey has definitely shown the keys as far as being consistent the entire season. Even though he has one win this season, he has definitely been able to podium, finish strong in the top 5 each and every single race we go to. So that definitely shows why he is going to be our champion, most likely, after tonight's race here at Spa.
Now, as for the LMP2s, which is one of the other championships up for grabs between Gerard McGarvey and Smith, right now I'm seeing Gerard on the pole. Bill, I'm thinking he'll be kind of the fly in the ointment on this whole thing, especially if he winds up splitting the two of them. But from what we've seen from Gerard so far this season, I think I would not hedge my bets against him winning.
Yeah, but what's interesting here, talk about the fly in the ointment, this could be like the tarantula in the ointment, is the small field. This really doesn't play into Billy Smith's advantage because he needs to have a little bit of gap between him and Scott McGarvey. And right now, I'm only seeing 5 qualifiers in that class. Now, there's a few drivers that yet to put in time, so maybe they're going to race as well. One of those being Magic Alex Ellis. Looks like he may race with us. I hope he shows up. But if we don't have a larger field, it's going to make it harder for McGarvey to get the win. Are we looking at Ellis right now? Hey, good to see him racing. Now, there's a fly in the ointment for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good point seeing him show up again. We know he has speed in these HPDs. Interesting stat as well about this points race here in the HPDs. They can possibly tie for the lead, Smith and McGarvey, but if Smith wins today and they wind up tying in the points, Smith wins the tiebreaker because he's won more times this season. So there's something to think about.
That's good. I like that one. So it makes it a little more good to have a little extra drama. Oh my goodness, the night is dark and full of terrors. Look at that. I love that camera shot.
And looks like Ellis's lap that time by did not count. Boy, he's struggling to keep it on the track. Easy to do around this track, Taylor. The off tracks, that is a legitimate worry for me, especially now that it's nighttime that we're seeing this race play out in. It's hard enough in the daytime to keep it from extending past the boundaries.
Yes, indeed. And this could be a possibility tonight. We could see drivers be disqualified, not maybe because of getting too much damage or making contact with other cars, but really just going off track too much. I mean, we saw Alex Ellis not be able to make a qualifying time because he went off course somewhere on the track. So that could be a big possibility that we see in any of these classes here tonight, just because of how limited viewing you can see on the track as we ride on board with Christopher Sherburne. You can't hardly see anything except what the lights on your headlights can show. So it's going to be very difficult to navigate across this track here tonight.
When I first started racing, I did a night race at Sebring. I actually, this is testimony from my talent. I actually got lost. I spun the car in the grass, could not find the track again. I just kind of spent 5 minutes driving around the Florida terrain. All right.
Were you with other cars? Because you could have looked for the headlights eventually as they went by.
No, it was the weird configuration where I got into where they could not be found. I saw them, but I couldn't get to them. You couldn't get to them from there.
Hey, Soup, there, I can top that. Try doing it at night at the Nürburgring.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
That's even more dangerous.
All right, Cy Andra's out on track. We weren't sure if he was going to show up here. He has come a little bit late, but the number 24 car should have just enough time, I think, to maybe get a lap in. We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, right now, out on track, the only cars we have running are Mark Kudrowski, who does have a time in. He sits 15th in the GTE class. We've got Cy Andra out there, who has not put a time in. Christopher Sherburne is the last car to have put a time in. He's 18th right now in the GTEs. He's trying to get another one down. And then we saw Ellis a little bit earlier still trying to get his timed lap down. And actually, He went by one more time, and Ellis had another no score that lap.
Those onboard cameras, you almost expect some like Belgian wildlife to come across the track.
Absolutely. It's well, that's one good thing about racing here in the virtual world, is that's a legitimate concern in some tracks that are out in the woods like this one is. I know that it's not uncommon that we've seen tracks such as Road America, Bathurst have had serious incidents, in some cases incredible injury to drivers from animals crossing the track. So thankfully, I really hope that iRacing doesn't add that to the service anytime soon. Be a really frustrating way to injure a race.
Yes, that would be.
Now, they are going to change the cars. They've confirmed for next season that it will not be the LMP1s coming back. They have switched back to the HPDs being the fastest class next season, the GTEs, and then they're bringing the GT3s back, which has been very popular with drivers. But the GTE is the big talk over there because an announcement came out from iRacing today, Taylor.
Yes, indeed. A new GTE car will be released. The BMW will be making its debut next season here. And I tell you what, a lot of fans, having a lot of fun with the BMW. But I'm looking forward to it. Big fan of that car and love watching it here on the track, especially on the iRacing surface.
All right, checkered flag is out. Cy Andra will be allowed to finish this lap. He's coming to the line now, and just behind Alex Ellis. I'm seeing if he manages to get a time in or not, and he does at the last moment. Cy Andra does as well, and that's good enough for the front row for Cy Andra. Woo! Ellis, on the other hand, fourth on his grid, and I think the last car we have to finish is going to be either Mark Kudrowski or Bradley. Yeah, Kudrowski is going to be the last, but we do have Haley out there. Not sure when he hopped into his car. He's currently in the front row as well in the GTE class. Ford is crossing the line. He's got about 3 timed laps in. And the last one is his fastest, a 2:12 flat, but it's not fast enough to put himself on the pole. So Kudrowski coming around at this point in his Ferrari. He's got actually quite a bit of the track to go. Did he get across the line in time?
Might be enough time. He's still got a little bit to maybe get to it. Trying to see where on the track is. Even for commentators at night, it can be a little difficult to tell what.
He's coming out of Stavelo right now. Yeah.
Yep, Stavelo.
So up to Blanchimont, and yeah, a minute and a half. He should definitely have enough time to get this one across. Currently sitting 15th in his class in the number 944. Around the fast left-hander of Blanchimont. Just one more corner to go before the timing line. Up after the bus stop. He gets it woed up nicely. Down to the first apex clean. Through the second one. Quite a bit of curb, though. He keeps it on course. And as he crosses, that 2:16 flat is going to improve to a 2:15.8. And that bumps him up only one position. But still, that's one less car he has to pass. 14th for him. Let's go through your starting order here today. Bit of a small field in 2 of the classes. And the LMP1's Jason DeVries, who is our champion, is going to be starting on the pole. Cy Andra, one last round. Let's see if he can carry that momentum here to clinch it in the final round as well. He starts from 2nd place. Mike Young starts P3 with Daniel Gralty in 4th. Then it's Lionel Duprat starting in the 5th position. And the last of our very small LMP1 field is Mark Wilson starting 6th.
Then you got Jason Girard's going to be starting inside of Scott McGarvey. Billy Smith and Alex Ellis make up the 2nd row in the LMP2s. Sheldon Rosenbaum and Chris Pitts make up row 3. 6 LMP1s, 6 LMP2s. I'm going to go out and mow the lawn while Taylor goes through his 18 GTE.
Of course, and you're sitting on the pole position for the GTE class will be Alex Simonik. Alongside him will be Bradley Haley. Ryan Huff will start in the 15th position overall alongside our GTE Pro Championship winner for the most like Stephen McGarvey. Alongside him will be Paul Lindsay and Kevin Santana. Those are our GTE AM runner-ups right out here today. Along behind them will be Dean Bull and Dave Hill in 21st and 22nd. followed by Robert Cancion in 23rd, Emmanuel Igiri in 24th, Lee Peterson 25th, Shane Hunter 26th, Sheldon Woloshin in 27th, Mark Krudowski will come home, start in the 28th position, followed by Matt Owens in 29th, Dale Green in 30th, Christopher Sherburne in 31st, and Tim McLeish in 32nd.
Yeah,
Guys,
too bad GSRC doesn't pay by the name.
Hey, Bill?
Yeah.
Can you see a little better?
Oh, hey!
I guess you didn't update. Yeah, I was caught by surprise as well. The qualifying was at night, but they've elected to have the race during the day, it looks like. So we were caught a little bit off guard by that as well.
But I passed out for a second there.
It was...
don't go into the light, Bill. Don't go into the light.
It's 10 a.m. here, Virtual Standard Time, 10:30 in the morning in Belgium and iRacing world as we see the cars now grid up for the final round. Well, this is a relief for any driver that probably thought that it was going to be at night, I'm sure. This field, only about 32 cars compared to what was a much bigger pack when we showed up at Daytona in round one. Even still, I have no doubt that we are in for a good show out there today. Just waiting for them to take off on what is about a third of the track that they'll warm up the cars. And then we'll get going for 90 minutes for the finale of Season 7. I can report that they've already released the schedule for Season 8. And as far as we know from our talks with Autobahn, they will be back here with GSRC. It's not been confirmed, but there is every intention for them to come back with us, of course. Pace car has now taken off to lead them through Blanchimont. Let's go through our traditional picks of the race. Bill, who do you think's going to win?
Wide wire in both classes. Deep Freeze going to close this out with a win, put a final stamp on his domination. Jason Girard also gets the win in the LMP2s. Taylor?
Well, you can't go wrong with Alex Simonic being your winner, but you know what? Let's keep an eye on one and only Bradley the Comet Haley. I think he might be able to do something here tonight. Let's keep an eye on him. Those will be my picks to watch.
All right, they're waiting for the roof pace car to head in. Then De Vries will have control of the field, but they should not get the green flag until after La Source. It is the endurance layout here today, so they have to wait a bit before they get to what is the traditional start line. As you can see them wandering down the front stretch, only 6 LMP1s out there today, but it has been a good fight between De Vries and Andra for much of the season up at the front. So don't think that this is going to be a boring race with these fast cars. Down to the line, waiting patiently. De Vries still has control. Now he accelerates away. Green flag is out here for the final round of the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sports Car Challenge. He got a fantastic jump over the rest of the field. In second place, it is still Cy Andra giving chase, and he's starting to stretch away from the battle for third, which is all in the line. Let's go to the LMP2s.
Girard gets the jump. He's out in front. Scott McGarvey, your point leader, drops into second behind the man who's chasing him in the points and on the track, Billy Smith. Ellis, Pence, and Rosenblum round out your top 6. Taylor?
Going up to El Rouge, it is going to be 3 Fords taking the top 3 spots right now with Simonic, Haley, and as well Ryan Huff, who gets a great run out of the Radillon down the Kemmel Straight. He's going to slipstream right behind Bradley Haley, and they're going to go side by side as they make their way down to Lacoon.
Battle for second into this chicane, and Haley going to come out on top with Ryan Huff slotting back into third. They've got McGarvey close behind them.
McGarvey, I know he wants to probably go up for that third position or second position, but he's also got to remember he's still in a good championship. Something could happen to where it could cost him, but I really think he just wants to try to finish this race out.
Actually, I believe we got a battle here in the LMP2s. This is McGarvey versus Smith for the lead, or for second, actually.
This has been going on since Lacoumbe. Oh, McGarvey gets loose. He's going to put it in the grass, but he keeps it going. If McGarvey gets anywhere close to anybody, I'm going to strangle him. The championship is his. He just needs to stay out of trouble. He raced with Billy Smith for half a lap.
And before we get to bonus points, I believe 5th or better gives McGarvey the championship. So I agree with you. All he really has to do is not finish in last place here. So he just has to keep the car going.
McGarvey needs to finish ahead of Chris Pence, and it's okay.
So as we watch the battle for the lead for the LMP2s, this is Cy Andra giving chase to Jason DeVries up and over Adelion. Ooh, he gets a fantastic run. We've seen this a lot. Good in a straight line, and as they come down the Kimmel Straight, DeVries tries to fight back. He gets on the button, but there's just not enough battery for him. He backs out of it. The lead changes hands to Cy Andra on only the second lap. So one point I did want to make is that I believe that McGarvey and the GTEs actually has clinched the championship simply because Darling did not show up here today.
That would be Stephen McGarvey, not to get confused with Scott McGarvey or Steve Garvey of the Dodgers, if you want to put that one in there as well.
Wow, this battle's still going on screen, though, as DeVries has to Andra has to fend off DeVries down into Puhan. Took a little bit of a look down to the inside, but decided to back out of it. This has brought Daniel Gralti a little bit into the mix as those two have been battling. He was way back there in third, but he's run the gap down to about 7/10.
Yeah, now I don't know how to get excited about this, as I know one of these stints they have to save a little bit. So I don't know, DeVries back there in second, not so bad. I'd like to see Gralti get up and race with these guys.
I mean, it's now or never. You got nothing to lose in this race. Meanwhile, we got a battle for third down in the GTE class. What's going on there, Taylor?
Yes, indeed. Stephen McGarvey was able to get by Ryan Huff, who is still trying to give chase to that Ferrari, but not too far behind is Paul Lindsay as they're making their way out of Puhan. He's been having a great run right now. It's kind of separated just a little bit, but still, Paul Lindsay and Kevin Santana, nose to tail for the most part, have been that way the entire season. This is the battle that I'm going to be most watching the entire race to see who can come out on top here tonight.
Work their way out of Stavelo. Separated a little bit more now. Number 41 as we go over to the second place battle, which was between Smith and McGarvey that we were watching earlier in LMP2. They've got some friends now. Alex Ellis has run them down. Sheldon Rosenbaum has joined these train of cars. And Rosenbaum is the last car that McGarvey should allow to pass him if he wants to take this championship. Ooh, what happened to Mole here? Looks like this happened in the bus stop.
Just lost it by the looks of it.
Yeah, let's see in the replays. He's right up underneath, trying to figure out who that
was
is.
Kevin Santana.
Looks like Santana.
Yeah, now that's big news because Santana's in that AM championship, so he does not want to get punted.
Oh, right there. He
Absolutely.
just overshoots it into the corner because he saw Santana braking a little bit earlier than what Dean Mull is used to by the looks of it.
It's it going once again in 13th.
And right ahead of him.
Chased down by the likes of Owens.
And Paul Lindsay's the man he's racing in the there's Bradley Haley's off. They just went around Bradley Haley.
Oh, this was where was this? Let's take a look at the replay into Lacombe. Wow, just all by himself. The rear of that Ford swaps ends, or at least tries to.
Yeah, this looks like when he was going into the second part of Lacombe's, he just snaps it a little bit. He was able to make a nice save, though, but loses multiple positions in that. Unfortunate for him.
Meanwhile, we got to go to the overall lead because Cy Andra and Jason DeVries about to go side by side. DeVries given the inside line by Cy Andra, but he outbrakes him into the corner, tries to cover off the apex, beats him to the second one, but he clatters over the curbs. Still, he manages to collect the car, and DeVries does not make the move stick.
Oh my goodness. Daniel Gralti getting his money's worth back there for the price of admission, watching that show.
Well, and Gralti does have to worry about not getting caught up in this. He's fighting for third place with the driver right behind him. That's Mike Young. There's only 8 points between them in third for the championship. So as much as Gralti would like to move up in positions, he's got to be wary about it.
He's there now. He's right on. He's 2 or 3 car lengths back.
I feel like if I was Gralty, I would be giving them just a little bit of a buffer because what we're seeing right here, Bill, to me says there's no championship on the line. The gloves are off between these two.
They're having fun. No matter how long will the fun last. They are side by side now. Look at Gralty, but this is a great shot. Looking at it ahead. Oh, look, Andre gets the best of it again.
Yeah, De Vries keeps getting a little bit of run, but decides that it's not worth the risk this early on. Maybe trying to force Andre into a mistake. Now they come through the bus stop. And, wow, it's not just Gralty, but Mike Young has joined the fray. So it is essentially a 4-car battle for the lead now, and what is a 6-car field in this class.
Good racing up there in LMP1. LMP2 is very passive. They've all got themselves a nice interval. Oh, I love this shot. That's fun.
On the helicopter, climbing up the Kimmel Straight. Another good run from Jason. He starts to catch on the back of Cy Andra. The deep freeze again starts to lift before they get to the braking of Lacombe. Elects not to make anything of it. So your order for the top 4 here in the LMP1 class is Andra, De Vries, Gralty, and Young. Up at the top of the LMP2s, Jason Gerard doing what he does. He is putting a gap on Billy Smith. He may not have won the championship. He may be out of it mathematically, but he's going to put a stamp with a potential 9th win, I believe it is, if he gets this one.
That's an airmail stamp, maybe. That's expensive in there. That's...
Yeah, out of 14 rounds, Gerard's lack of attendance in a couple races is the only thing that stopped him from managing to be in it. In fact, he was awful close. He was only barely mathematically out of it here at this round. The fact that he was in it all the way till 1 to go says a lot to how dominant he's been this season, even though he missed multiple races.
He needs like an equivalency test, like for high school, when you miss a lot of classes, you can still get your diploma. They should like give him an honorary championship or something.
We had an off in the LMP1's Mike Young. I guess maybe he's aware of what the championship fight is like for him, because I'm not sure if he had a go or if he just missed his breaking point into the bus stop. He's coming through Blanchemont that we're watching, Bill.
Daniel Gralty, no clue of how close his afternoon almost ended here.
Comes up in a hurry, has to take off the track. The SRN Motorsports car comes back on without hitting anything, granted, but he lost a lot of time from that one error.
Up front, they're side by side.
Oh, and this time De Vries does get it, and this could be just in time because they are catching traffic now. Tim McLeish going to be the first one that they overtake. Already De Vries sneaking through down into Rivage. Both the GTE cars staying out wide, allowing Cy Andra to follow them through. That did cost a little bit of time, that pass on Andra, as he's fallen back to about 0.8 of a second. A few more cars that De Vries tries to weave his way through. Wow! Going in deep past his teammate Matt Owens, but making it stick, and that puts 2 cars between himself and Cy Andra, costing him yet more gap, and now bringing the likes of Daniel Gralty up on his rear wing.
Jason De Vries taking a page out of Bob the Blade Dinsey.
Oh, and that's a cut-off!
Woo!
Owens into the barrier. Hard into the barrier, and that was from contact with Daniel Gralty. And I don't fault Gralty on this one. As we watch the replay, it looks like he just didn't expect 2 cars to be coming through at the moment. Just one of the perils of a battle happening in a faster class. You always kind of got to keep aware of whether or not there's going to be one or multiples. Back up to the top with the LMP1s. De Vries keeps going and keeps the gap at about 1 second over Andra now that they've hit the Kimmel straight, literally weaving back and forth through the traffic.
Robert Kension says, I'll be on the left side, I'll go to the right side, and man, it's through. Boy, and all of a sudden, after all of that, Andra is right back up on the back of DeVries. DeVries had put 3 or 4 cars between them.
And Young is back on Gralty too. It's hard to know which battle to watch here. I wonder if Daniel got any sort of damage to his car from that contact.
Took a pretty good shot to the left side side pod there.
Gonna get the car of Kevin Santana between them, and he actually bails off the track to let them through. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, one thing I noticed a lot in listening to some of the chatter is a lot of the LMP1 drivers tell the GTE drivers just to hold their line, as we have an issue with Gradowski right now.
This was out of No Name, it looks like. Was this Lionel Duprat making contact with him? No, well, sort of. Oh, and Duprat hit the wall. So did Kudrowski. There you see hard contact between both of them and into the tires.
Unfortunate for Mark Kudrowski. I mean, unfortunate for both drivers right there as we go on board with Duprat. I mean, Duprat really had nowhere to go. I mean, Mark just was so loose through No Name. It was amazing that he just only made that little bit of contact. Still a lot, but could have been much worse.
Poor Lionel's been having a miserable couple of races. Last round, he tried to let the leaders through and got punted off the track after he'd already had one incident. And now another one that really wasn't his fault that collects him.
Oh, I think we're going to have a pass from the lead up in LMP1's. Andra with a run. Oh, but he has had trouble. There's Alex Simonik was in the way. He's still back there. I have no idea if Andra's going to be a legitimate move. I think it is, Joe.
He's going to go the long way around. Can he keep it on track, though, up and on top of the curves? Somehow he does, finding the limit of the grip. Oh, but he got a slow down penalty, and he has to give it back.
Oh, but it looks
too good to be. Yeah.
Looked good for television.
It was incredible, but unfortunately, according to the stewards, not a legal pass. So back away it goes to Jason DeVries. For now, at least, these two continuing the trend that we've seen all season long, in which they cannot get away from one another. Down in the battle for third in the GTE class, Taylor, Bradley Haley, and Ryan Huff.
Yeah, Bradley Haley was able to find his way to get by Ryan Huff finally, as Ryan Huff now has to give chase to Bradley Haley as they make their way to LaFangs. I mean, Bradley Haley lost several positions, was up to second, but due to that mistake he made, he's now going to make the climb back up. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult now as he's got to get by McGarvey, who's right in front of him as they come out of Stavelo and make the run to Blanchimont. I believe we had a car out there with quite a bit of dust coming out of Stavelo.
Yeah, I see some tire tracks, but I don't see who caused it, unfortunately. Oh, was that maybe Paul Lindsay? He was going awful slow. No, he was just letting the leaders by. Or letting somebody by. And actually, Lindsay is interesting because he is right ahead of Kevin Santana, only 3 seconds separating them. And again, these are the two fighting for the AM Championship. This is Lindsay behind Santana by 5 points right now. He's not taking it, but he's doing what he needs to do.
And he's actually up there challenging the likes of Haley and Ryan Huff right now. So if he's able to find a way, if any of those two drivers make a mistake in front of them, that could be a shot to help him get those points he needs in order to maybe to clinch the championship here tonight.
And we got a battle for the lead in the LMP1s, changing hands once again. DeVries on the inside, down through Rivage. Andra going the long way around, somehow finding grip. It switches back into No Name. The momentum almost goes back in favor of DeVries. In fact, it does. He gets himself a fantastic run, gets to the inside into Puhan. They're going to bang doors once again. This one sends Andra off track momentarily. He comes back at him. They're going to go into the right-hander that starts with Fanyes here, and he manages to sneak by, but it is starting to get a little bit rough out there up front.
Oh, almost like it's Sylvester Stallone and Carl Withers being Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed here. Almost seems scripted. These guys are just fighting and fighting and fighting. Great racing going on the entire race between these two.
Almost looks more like Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, a la Predator.
Okay, all right.
They're smiling at each other while they're gripping arms, right?
It's a good movie.
A little more traffic up ahead of them. Dale Green is in his Porsche. Are they going to just let him through? He's going to stay off to the left side. One gets by, and does two get by? DeVries has got the inside. Yes, he does. Now, as this has happened, they're going to lap one of our LMP1 cars, who is now in the pits, Lionel Duprat. Unfortunately, definitely not going to make it on 2 stops because he had to come in for repairs. Looking at 8th in the GTEs, this is battle between Kanchian and Ijere. Down there at 20th overall. These cars pretty much smack dab in the middle of the mid-pack here in the GTEs. Still hotly contested usually, and definitely the largest field that we've had all season long.
Yes, indeed. These two have been going at it for multiple laps right now. Actually, since the start of the race, Robert Kansian having a great run right now, trying to hold off the likes of Emmanuel Ijiri.
Sorry to interrupt. We got a battle for 3rd in the GTEs. It's Huff and Haley. Huff is right behind him now. Oh, but he backs out of it very early. He could have easily stuck his nose in. I'm not sure why he would do that, Taylor. Maybe, I mean, Haley's out of it mathematically, but maybe just not wanting to get involved in case Haley wants to get second away?
Possibly, or it could be just maybe he's biding his time. He might have just thought, oh, this might not have been a good move for both of them, so he decided maybe to back off and just wait till it's a better opportunity for him to make the attack.
So down through they plunge into Puhan. And you can see he's backed off from Haley, so Huff giving him a little bit of breathing space. Meanwhile, we're going to see another change for the lead and the LMP1s because DeVries and Andra side by side yet again, this time through La Source. Both of them making it through. And Cy Andra gets the throttle down much better than Jason DeVries going around the outside, so he swings back ahead, single file through Eau Rouge. This is where they tend to catch each other again. And Jason DeVries finds himself with a little bit of speed climbing towards the rear of his rival, Cy Andra, up towards Lacombe. He lifts off before they hit the braking zone.
As a commentator, it's tough to call because so much of this depends on when we interview the guys. They say, well, I saved the battery, I'm saving the battery, then I use the battery. So I have no clue who's faster or who's as good at, like, with the Ever-Ready.
What certainly makes it fun to watch between them. Lots of passes for the lead here at the top. I'd say this is incredibly competitive between these two at this track. Sometimes one has had the slight edge over the other at some tracks despite being close to one another, but here, this is about as dead even as you can get.
Here comes Gralty too. He's on the move. He's only half a second back.
I'm pretty certain has Gralty ever had a win in any class in this series?
It seems like we ask this question every race. We don't think he's coming now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thinking, maybe I could get a win. Maybe I could get one under the belt here. At least for this season, I know he's not got one.
Here they come. They're taking no prisoners right now.
And DeVries decides it's better than to try and make it 3 wide through there. So as they come on to the front stretch, watching from Gralty's perspective, another look to the inside now as DeVries overtakes Cy Andra yet again. Last time they did this, though, Andra had the power off the corner. This time he does not. Looks like DeVries learned his lesson.
There is another class. There is the LMP2s, but honestly, there's nothing going on there. It's Gerard, Smith, and McGarvey, and no real battles.
They come up the Kimmel Straight again. This time it's another run. Looking to the outside for Andra. Oh, and they come together. This time he definitely cuts across the course, having to take to the grass. Andra giving the time back. Did he get damaged? Did De Vries get damaged from that? Now Gralty comes into the mix. He's looking to take second place away. Gets to the inside, down through Rivage, but can't quite complete the pass. How much damage is on the car of I'd say a fair bit, because there goes Daniel Gralty with ease.
He's got to serve that penalty, I would think, although he did find a great little access road while he was off in the grass.
You were right about things. It could only last so long before things got a little bit too rough. And I can report we have had quite a few winners here in LMP1. It's just, well, since about halfway through the season, that has narrowed down to just 2. It's all been Andra or De Vries. Other than them, Tinsley's gotten a win. Lyons got a win, which he was pretty happy about earlier in the season. And Guarcia also had a win. Ooh. Alex Ellis is stuck in the wall. Very stuck in the wall. He's gonna have our replay is gonna have to go way far back here, because this.
Yeah, this is hardware error.
Yeah, very much so. This is the iRacing equivalent of brake failure.
Yeah, or throttle sticking. Mama Jean, if you're watching this, close your eyes. This is going to be frightening.
I've never seen half a car sticking out of the tires quite like that before. And he tried desperately to pull it back out. He apparently got it in reverse, but then he just put a plume of smoke in the air, unfortunately.
I think the other half's in Zolder.
So looking at Billy Smith trying to deal with this traffic now. He's lost Gerard by about 3.5 seconds, but the driver he's concerned about is Scott McGarvey, who still sits behind him by about 3.5 seconds himself. Oh, is the battle for the lead back on for the LMP2s?
I don't want to be ho-hum about it, but yeah, it is. They're side by side again.
Well, the damage was overplayed. Andra managed to catch up to Jason De Vries. They're going to go door to door. This is where they touched once before, down through Pujon. They give each other a little bit more room, but Jason De Vries gives it a little bit more gas off the corner. He gets a nose ahead. Not brave enough on the brakes into Fanghees. Still door to door. Neither of them willing to give up. This is allowing the likes of Gralty to catch up behind him. Does he dare stick his nose into the fight? Don't forget Mike Young fighting him for a third in the championship, also right there. And finally, it looks like Andra going to come out ahead. But what's this?
Mike Young!
What happened to Gralty? He just suddenly slowed. Like he was standing still, and Mike Young breezes into third place.
I got to give a tip of the hat, though, to Gralty. There was room, and he had the momentum to put it right in between. He thought better of it. Here comes Mike Young now on De Vries.
Yeah, Mike wants a little bit of this action, but it's not going to work because it looks like Gralty's got his legs under him yet again. These are all for position here in LMP1. This is effectively for the lead that we're seeing right now. And we're almost a half an hour into this race. I hope it stays like this all the way to the end.
Look like balls in like a bingo float, this bounce around like ping pong balls. Man, switching positions. There goes Young ahead of Gralty.
Timing and scoring's getting a workout today. De Vries back again, trying to peel the lead away from Andra. He gets the car woed up in time, but he's too tight to the apex. Here comes Andra back at him on the inside of Malmedy. Behind them, that's Mike Young taking a little bit of a peek, but can't quite get it done. They're still going to be door to door as they come through Rivage. Down it in a no-name. Finally, De Vries gets ahead. And a swap behind them. Off the corner, Mike Young a little bit slow. Here comes Gralty back into the podium spot. He's carrying the speed now. He's going to try and look to get around. Oh, I almost thought we were going to go 3 wide with Shane Hunter there in the Porsche, having to stay way out of the way with cars barreling down behind him.
I'm telling you right now, if you're a rookie driver and new to iRacing, do not drive this way. This is some good racing from some really good drivers.
Yes, indeed. I felt so bad for Shane Hunter when 4 LMP1 cars barreling down on him like Mad Men coming upon him. It was just like, oh, please don't let anyone hit me. And surprisingly, no one made contact with Shane Hunter. But we got more lap traffic in front of our LMP1 leaders as they make their way into the bus stop chicane. Oh, De Vries would leave Peterson.
Yeah, look at how clever De Vries was there, though. He saw that Andre was looking to the left side, so he boxed him in behind the likes of Peterson, denied him an opportunity. Still more traffic up in front of them. They've got to get by Rosenbaum, Mejere, and Kanchian next. Whoa! And that was Rosenbaum trying to get around the GTE car, making it 3 wide at the last second. Continuing to bob and weave around the slower cars. Jason De Vries didn't give up the spot, but his momentum slightly interrupted, enough that Cy Andres starting to run him back down. And while we're watching all this, I can tell you that we're not really missing much in the top of either other class. This is really the closest and best fight that we're seeing for top players in any of the 3, LMP1, LMP2, or GTE.
Joe, I gotta say, this is probably the best battle that we've seen all season long here. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay tuned for the rest of this race.
Gralti just gets young. And now Gralti has some momentum. He's got a shot at Andra, side by side with side.
Working their way through Fanyes, Gralti able to get through Cy Andra, having to give it up. Now here's the thing, we're close to that half-hour mark, Bill, and Jason De Vries is starting to pull away. Did he save fuel better than these 3 and causing them to have to check up to make it to the end of this lap?
They're on lap 15 right now. This could be pit lap, or if we go one more, then these guys can race clean without having to worry about anything. We'll see. I got a hunch De Vries is coming in this time. We'll find out right now as he goes through the bus stop.
No,
he stayed out.
But he's miles ahead. And Andre's going to come in.
And Young.
That leaves the likes of Gralti out there. Well, that gets fascinating. 2 did and 2 did not.
Let's have a nice, good pit stop from all 4. I don't want pit stops to break that up. That was too much fun.
Absolutely. Going to be a lot more open in our other 2 classes. And this will also give us a chance to look at the others for a little while. Jason De Vries still leading our LMP2s. And Billy Smith still leading McGarvey, but the fight is going to go to McGarvey. If it stays where they are, McGarvey will be your champion. Down in the GTE class, it's being led by a driver who probably should have been in the championship, much like Gerard. Alex Simonik, the driver who's won the most races in this class, is looking like he's going to take another one potentially, but it's just too little too late.
Simonik's just been dominant all season long, but with those couple of bad races as well as missed starts, it was what majorly costed him this opportunity to win the championship here.
I think the biggest threat to any of those guys in the LMP2s or the GTEs is when the madness of De Vries and Gralti and Andre and Young come through, because those guys are chaos.
Oh, and speaking of chaos, Cy Andre just got passed by Mike Young in the pits. He pulled out just inches ahead of him. They were side by side. Let's look at the replay, and now he's starting to peel away.
Young about a second faster in the box.
Just out, and as soon as he saw that he was a nose ahead, he said, "Thank you, goodbye."
And with that, Jason De Vries is in the fast food ordering lane now, heading toward the clown.
But where is... Okay, Gralti is in too. I was going to say, if he makes 17 laps, my goodness.
That would be quite the feat.
That means all of our LMP1s will have come in. Now, wait a minute here. Did we get another LMP1 joining us suddenly? Or no, excuse me, I'm looking at one of the LMP2s.
Mark Wilson and Lionel Duprat, the other ones.
Thought someone maybe had joined late when I wasn't looking. Dean Mole, in the meantime, from the GTE class, electing to take a more even stop. These cars tend to go long on their early stints. Vries hits his stall, so does Geralti shortly. Andra currently heading out of the bus stop.
As he got around Young. Didn't take him long. Young got out of the pit lane first. They worked the way around Christopher Schermer. The source.
Down the hill, past the endurance pits. De Vries is out. He's on his way. He certainly sped away before the pit stops, as he made it well clear now that the pit stop is complete. He's got to get his momentum up. No, he is not clear. Not whatsoever. Here comes Andra with a head of steam, and I think he's going to get by before they get to the braking of Lacombe. It's a little close, but he's got a nose ahead. He chops him off at the apex. Andra, after the pit stop's done, retakes the lead.
Andra's in the box for 20 seconds. Mike Young in the box for 19 seconds. Geralti in the box for 19 seconds. Jason De Vries in the box, 25 seconds.
Going back to second place in the GTEs, Stephen McGarvey and Bradley Haley fighting for position on track, but not in the championship. McGarvey's out of reach. This is Haley essentially looking for maybe a moral win.
Pretty much. I mean, he's been really closing that gap on McGarvey as they came out of the source and making the run up to Eau Rouge. I mean, Haley was making a nice recovery after he's been probably wanting to try to at least get back where he started. As they come up through the Radillion down the Kemmel Straight, he's going to try to get a good run down here before they get to Lacombe's. But he's going to have a little bit of work to do right now because Stephen McGarvey is not going to give up this position very easily.
I think with Darley not being here, Haley should be able to take second in the championship. But even that is probably going to be a little bit painful because if I recall correctly, he's been second in the championship the past 2 seasons.
Got that down. He's really got second place figured out.
Just got to get that number 1 on his list as they get the likes of Sheldon Rosenbaum coming up to lap them, trying to keep from interrupting this battle too much. Let's take a glance back at Andra because he's still being chased by Jason De Vries. Now, that lengthier pit stop, as he takes a little peek down into Lacombe. We're also coming up behind an LMP2 car. That's Chris Pence up ahead of them. The longer pit stop I would mostly attribute to De Vries just taking that long stint the first time, Bill.
Yeah, I guess. Could be if I would have my guess, I think it was a misnomer on my timing and scoring, but they're all together now. Unfortunately, Geralti has been left behind. He's about 5 seconds back now. He's got some work to do, and there's a pass for the lead. Oh, sorry, yawning.
Oh, no, I don't know about yawning. Yeah, they've got lap traffic in front of them. That's Shane Hunter yet again that they're catching. Almost going through wide. Shane's got to wonder, do these guys ever give me a break?
What's funny was it was almost in the same exact spot.
Exactly. So last time it was a little bit down the road before Fanyes. Here comes Jason Girard, though. He's coming towards his pit stall. Billy Smith joins him, and Scott McGarvey are podium all in at the same time. Rosenbaum's going to stay out and inherit the lead.
New leader, that's right, baby. Some people call him Sheldonbaum. I like to call him Sheldon Rosenbaum. Out there in front right now in this LMP2, in that beautifully painted car. Oh, look at that fluorescent blue.
Yep. That team looking for some good results, but Sheldon's got a little bit of work to do. And that is that battle for position that we were watching earlier that he was following. This is for the GTE second place. Haley still hassling Stephen McGarvey.
Yes, indeed, as they make the run down to Rivage. McGarvey doing the best that he can to hold off. We see Rosenbaum go off.
Yeah, that was Rosenbaum on her screen.
Another braking mistake, and he took a tow. I think the mailman knocked on the door or something.
Let's take a look. Maybe he miscalculated fuel since...
All right, I'll buy that. Yep.
Just realized I'm not going to make it back.
Some people will do anything to lead a lap. I mean, that's...
Oh, yep, we called it. He coasts on fuel. Wasn't paying close enough to the gauges, paying a close enough attention to the gauges. And unfortunately, has to take the long way back to the pits on the hook. This is our driver in third, Mike Young, who's overtaken Daniel Gralty. Gralty about 2.5 seconds back now, and not able to catch Young.
Gralty had that long stop, but last time I checked in, he was back about 4.5 seconds, so he's coming.
Now those 8 points between them, let's see. Difference between third and fourth is 2 points, so yeah, that's not going to do it. He'll still take home third. And McGarvey has abandoned this battle. Haley stays out.
Garvey's the first one to wave the flag to come down pit road as far as our major front runners right now. I tell you what, this is one of the most excruciatingly painful pit roads that you have to go down, because it's not just basically one, but two different types of pit road, as is the endurance layout of pit road as they come around. This would be an exit if you were on one of the other formats, but due to the fact you have to go around La Source and then down this short chute before they get to the second part to where the rest of the field has pitted. I mean, this is just painful. I mean, all these positions you're easily losing, but hopefully will gain when the rest of the field comes down pit road.
As Bill likes to... Oh, and we got a battle for the lead again. Wow! Woo. Can we get a replay on board De Vries? Because he just got chopped off at the nose. It's probably why he was blinking his lights at him.
This long, I know just how long it is, and as soon as I get my tail bite,
He even took a look to the inside, thinking maybe I could get that one back. So we come back live, they're still going at it, but the point I was trying to make before that battle erupted again is Bill likes to call it the fast food drive-through going through Spa with that awkward hairpin that you have to go through. So my question to you, Bill, is with this being in Belgium, do they order a Royale with cheese?
Yes, it is. That's right. We're on the metric system, baby. Quarter pounders here.
Through Stavelo, still staying with them. And as much fun as they seem to be having, that didn't look like De Vries really enjoyed that move as much. I wonder if it's going to get a little bit heated here at the end if they keep this up.
They can't keep this up. This cannot go on for 90 minutes. My mom would say, you guys have had too much fun. Now stop. This is going to end in tears.
And I still say that Young and Gralty are spying a very good opportunity to get their first win.
Yeah, I think so.
Meanwhile, leaders in the GTEs deciding to take their stops.
Yes, indeed. Simonic, Haley, Huff, all three of them have decided to come down pit road. And it looks like also Paul Lindsay's coming down, Kevin Santana. This is pretty much everybody in the GTE field going to be coming down pit road right now to complete their stop. So this will definitely help the likes of Stephen McGarvey to get back up inside the top 5 in the GTE class. There's Kevin Santana right there. Tava Hill coming in. Alex Simonic, though, just a dominant run all night long, pretty much all season whenever he's in the races. Has had a couple of hiccups, but for the most part, just a dominant driver. It makes you wonder what the championship would have been like if he was able to make all the races, plus be a little bit more consistent.
Interesting scenario here for these guys in the GTEs. They have the opportunity to do the early peel, late reveal here. They could come in again in the next maybe lap or two and do their final stop and then do the long stint to the end.
Simonic comes out, but he's not going to come back out in the lead because Leif Peterson seems to be the lone GTE car to be able to go an extra lap. I take that back to one of two because it's Christopher Sherburne also going to bypass it this time.
Yeah, Leif Peterson as one of the drivers I like to say as far as the most improved driver in the past recent season I've seen. Watching him race his way up, actually has been doing quite well. Has come close to getting a couple of podiums in this series as he's coming his way out of Rivage into No Name. He's probably going to be coming down to pit this time for the most part.
No. We're staying out. We're one stop in this. Stay out there, Leif.
That would be an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but page 17 of the GSRC commentator handbook. Put in some drama when you can.
You know, honestly, Bill, my mind was going the same place as you, though. It's going to be very close, even if he does come in this time.
By the time he gets out, remember, pit lane is forever. So it'll be close to the 45-minute mark by the time he gets it all said and done.
It is. He could possibly decide to pull it off and try to stretch it one more lap, possibly. We'll have to keep an eye on, see what he does. Just came out of Fagnes and now heading out of Stavelot and into Blanchimont. Let's see what he does. I mean, Leif Peterson could possibly pull one over our leaders here in the GT.
And the lead in the LMP1s is going to change hands once again as into Lacombe, Jason de Vries manages to get back by. He goes defensive down into Rivage, not wanting to let this one through, but deep on the brakes. Here comes Cy Andra. He's trying to hang it the long way around. We've seen this before, but not this time because he backs off by the time they hit No Name. Well, now, we missed the pit entry. What happened with our driver in GTE there?
He stays out another lap.
No! Leif, baby!
He could go for it. I think he might now.
He could go all the way. Christopher Sherburne's going to come up. Let's see if he also continues. Now, Sherburne could pit right now, I think, and still make it to the end. And indeed, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to pit, but will he go all the way to the checkers from this point? About a minute until halfway. So if he comes out with 44 minutes left to go, he can technically make it.
And he's got 11 seconds on. Boy, he's got a big one. Who's behind him there? I went back to Pence, so that's not the right guy because he's on the right class.
Well, Dean Moll has already made his pit stop. Oh, you're talking about Peterson on
Peterson,
Simonic.
yeah, Peterson back to Simonic is what about? I can't.
It is 11 seconds. Yeah.
11 seconds.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
Can he make this extra lap? Everybody was coming in much, much earlier. Meanwhile, is this a second stop for a couple drivers? No, for Sherburne it's not. For Lindsay it is.
This is the early peel, late reveal. This is the second stop early. Go long, then a tiny little short second stint, and then you go long again.
Well, the good news for Lindsay is this kind of puts him a bit away from all his competitors, so all he really needs to worry about is the lap traffic.
Yeah. DeVries, Andra, and Young.
And Cy has dropped off the back a little bit. Oh, you know what? He got held up by traffic. They're going to come up on Dean Moll. Wow. DeVries timed that perfectly. There was a car length between them, and he squeezed the GTE car in that gap. And Peterson's in now. He made it to the pit lane. Can he make it down the pit lane with the fuel that he has left? That's another question.
He's going to try. He's got that pit limiter on.
Oh, he's cruising.
He is cruising quite a bit. He is out of fuel by the looks of this. It's going to cost him.
Cut it too close. So even if he does make it here, he's going to lose a lot of time. Now, at least he's downhill, so he can literally roll to his pit stall as long as. Well, I guess he can stop early accidentally. If he stops too far, then he's in trouble.
And he makes it.
Well, this got all the more interesting. And Cy Andra's trouble with traffic is short-lived. He's caught back up to Jason DeVries.
I've ran out of gas in the past. It's really embarrassing. to the window. Everyone's behind it. You get out, you pay your bill, and you have to push your car away from the window.
You have a lot of interesting stories of embarrassing things happening to you, Biz. Oh, we went down to the inside. Here comes Cy Andra. He tried around the other way last time. It didn't work, so he tries the inside through Ravage, and he gets by before they hit No Name. Cy Andra now back up to the top spot.
Frosting on the cake to that story. I was in my bathroom, so you can just add that one in there as well.
This visual just gets more and more interesting, Bill.
Here we go.
All right. Battle. Oh. De Vries taunting us once again, making it look like maybe he wants to make a move. And how much of this is the fuel saving between them?
Yeah, you gotta wonder if Anders not using more up because he's made a couple mistakes and had to work harder to get there. Deep Freeze has been, no pun intended, very cool.
It's been most of his MO for much of the season. Both Andre and De Vries had a couple races early on where they had to get used to dealing with the traffic, certainly ran into their fair share of slower class cars, until De Vries, more than Andre, started to rifle wins off time after time. And that's what put him into the position that eventually led to him winning the championship. They go by the car of Stephen McGarvey, driver who should be our champion over in GTE as far as we can tell by the math now.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's been an amazing ride from McGarvey, just being very consistent all season long. I mean, you can't have a better season than what McGarvey has. Picking up a win, plus making sure you finish top 5. But I'll tell you what, nothing beats this battle for the lead in LMP1.
Yeah, 3 wide they were there. That was Bradley Haley, and De Vries managed to sneak through. You know, my other worry about this, Bill, I just thought of is we talked about the incident limit earlier. Usually we think of that as off tracks around here, but they've run into each other a couple times. That counts for 4 incidents right there. I wonder.
Yeah, the guys in the graphics department had a little trouble with the math. They put 32 on there. We are 36. It gets multiplied by 1/3 from 24 there, so they figured that out. They'll need all of them. Hey, I want to talk about Peterson a bit. The interval between Peterson and Simonic. Okay, we're going to look at this battle for 5th position here for the P5s. Minute 10. I'll talk more about that in a minute.
Yes, indeed. That's going to be a good battle probably to watch. But right now, it's the battle between Dean Mole and Dave Hill right now. They're coming out of Ravage, heading towards No Name. These two have been battling each other this entire season. I mean, you don't see one without the other for the most part. The 2 Ford GTs, and we see now one of the LMP2 drivers coming up behind them as they make the run into Puan. I mean, Dave Hill's trying his best to try to get by Dean Mole, making a bit of a recovery run after his mistake early on. But still not a bad run for either of these drivers, always running in the top 5, top 6 for the most part all season. Great to see these two battling out again, and looking forward to see what they can do when we go back racing this season.
It's a good battle. I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill battle, but it's really good.
That was awful close with which LMP1 was that going by? That was Mark Wilson. Kind of cut through, but thankfully didn't hit anybody. And they're able to continue their fight on their own. Meanwhile, Billy Smith now. Whoa! Holy goodness. He cut that awful close through Blanchimont. And then on screen, we see the battle for the lead once again. This is almost getting selfish now as these two keep pulling us away from great moments elsewhere. Cy Andre and Jason De Vries almost making contact for what is about the 4th or 5th time. That time I think they did make contact coming out of Ravage. And it's going to be De Vries who retakes the lead. A little bit of connection problem momentarily for Cy Andre. So how many times have they made contact now?
I took that column off of my timing and scoring because incidents are always a little bit iffy on getting them, but yeah, I think I'd be racking them up.
So we can estimate to kind of get an idea of where they are. If it counts for 4 each time, and that's the 4th time they've touched, that's 16 incidents right there.
Not to mention, I saw Andre take a couple trips through the alfalfa a few times. So that's
exactly. So we're probably looking at these guys roughly already at 20 incidents, and they've still got more than half an hour to go. Here comes another lunge down the outside, down into the bus stop, and another touch. They both collect it. They both get it going once again. It looks like Andre gonna be able to keep the lead on that one. So we're at 24 incidents now?
We need like some pinball machine sound effects or something. Just racking them up.
And someone's getting tilted, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is getting a little bit too hot now. I genuinely can't tell if they're smiling inside these cars or if it's actually starting to get a little rough and a little bit battled and bruised. Through some more of the GTE traffic. Sheldon will lotion, trying to let them through. Peeked to the outside from DeVries that time, but couldn't do anything with it. And that's Mike Young, by the way, back there in third. Also still with a chance to maybe take the victory from both of these drivers. He's run them down. We've had so much time talking about this fighting. We haven't really paid close attention to whether or not they've been able to save enough, at least whether Andre's been able to save enough to make a long stint out of this middle stint, because we've already seen the long one from DeVries back there. And Mike Young is also on the same strategy that Andre is.
I'd like to see them to get to lap 31 before they stop.
Wait a minute, Daniel Gralte's in. Why is Gralte in this early?
That's not good. That's not a good sign.
He's got a lot of damage. I'm looking to see what happened here. I can't... Oh, it happened a long, long time ago. Almost a full lap ago through Eau Rouge. Don't know if we can find a replay. It was all on him, but the car got loose through Eau Rouge, and he smacked it into the tires at full speed. Very reminiscent of Fittipaldi's crash a couple years ago. Or last year, rather.
That makes sense, because he was losing ground to Mike Young. So, yeah, that's going to put him out of the mix. Good news, though, for Wilson and Pratt, maybe.
Come back to the lead. I want to go over the points a little bit after we settle this, if we settle this, because side by side to Lecombe, once again, that's Andre in the white car around the outside. The yellow and black is Jason DeVries. A little bit deeper on the brakes to Andre. Gives him the lead momentarily. So Daniel Gralte's in the pits. He's currently 5th place. Lionel Duprat, is he going to... Lionel Duprat just passed him. That puts him on the same lap. No, that puts him past him. That puts him in 5th. So Gralte now in 6th, still taking repairs. All right, we got to do the dangerous thing. We got to do some math. So 6 points is worth 22. And Young is in 3rd with 30 points. That's 8 points right there.
I think so.
We could have a tiebreaker. Wow. Gralte is out. Can he chase down Lionel Duprat? The plot thickens here in Belgium. I said I was glad they chose this track for the final round, and now you are seeing why as our leaders blast past the likes of Shane Hunter yet again. Oh, down the outside, Andre. Gonna try to get back to the front. These guys really want to lead. Either that or they're happy to put on a show. But it's a bad exit off of that last chicane. Here comes DeVries back up the inside, down into La Source. We've seen the outside car manage to take the lead back through here before. Not quite this time, though. It's going to go back to Jason. This onboard following him up over the hill. Look at the run he gets, though. What a difference the line can make. Makes it look easy. Jason DeVries momentarily in the lead, now back to second. Looking back in the GTE battle, Robert Kanchin and Emmanuel Ejere fighting for this spot in the mid-pack.
Again, another group of drivers who have not separated each other from this entire race right now as they come out of Fagnes and heading into Stavolo right now. These two drivers have been doing quite the battling between the two. Emmanuel trying to just get a good finish this season, try to close in a little bit on a good points race as well in the GTE AMs. And of course, Robert as well, trying to get a good finish. Hasn't finished that well this season, so this could be a good shot for him to maybe get a good finish inside the top 10 in the GTE class.
Almost to a half an hour to go. When that mark hits, we'll probably be looking at LMP1s making pit stops. But for now, we finally are able to put the cameras on something other than De Vries and Andra. Ejere, not quite strong enough off the chicane, though, Bill.
Better hurry on that because I'm sure those guys will mix it up again. Yeah, I want to talk about a couple things in the GTEs. Remember Peterson, he's taken his second stop, or his one stop, he's good to go. The problem is he's back about 118 from Simonic. I figure Simonic's pit stop, because it's going to be a splash and go, it's going to be about a minute 4. I think the time lost by Peterson when he ran out of fuel cost him about 8 seconds in pit lane. I don't think Leaf's going to be able to get there even one stopping it, but I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, it's very unlikely as well, looking at the times and seeing how long it'll take him to get pit road. It would have to be a miracle. He could maybe pull out and maybe get a good 6th or 7th position, as we see right now.
Oh! They come together. This was the battle for 7th that we were watching. Kanchin continues, Ejere in the wall.
That is unfortunate for Emmanuel. He's coming. This is coming down the Kimmel straight right now. As you see, Emmanuel gets right up, right behind him, tries to take a peek to the inside. As they go into Lecombs, we see the crossover position. Robert then makes the contact and sends Emmanuel right up into the barriers.
Robert didn't read the Emmanuel quite right and unfortunately got into him. We'll watch it one more time.
Yeah, Fury's got some complaints on this one.
I agree. 199, however, is able to keep going. And as that was happening, we did have some side-by-side battle going on between Andra and De Vries. It's De Vries back in the lead. Mike Young is getting very, very close to these two now. They work through Blanchimont. He starts to drop off on the straightaway, though. I'm not sure if this is battery or maybe downforce setting. And he's going in.
He's going to have to do his 16-lap stint next time because this is lap 30.
Andra keeps going, though, and of course De Vries able to continue. We go by the GTE car of Dave Hill, who's honestly all by himself at the moment.
Kevin Santana in the grass right now. This is big. It's right in the bus stop. This is going to cost him. He has to make another stop. He might want to take it right now, and he does.
Actually, does he?
But this is going to cost him
big damage.
Big damage.
Oh, I got it late. This has huge ramifications.
This happened out of Blanchimont. Just a little bit farther back here on the replay, and I think we'll get it. It's Kevin Santana fighting for the AM Championship. Loses it out of the infamous corner and smacks the wall hard enough that he has to take to the pits. So let's see, he's fighting Lindsay, who is currently sitting in 9th as he tumbles down the order. And again, no spare car.
And Lindsay's, oh, there's no spare car. That's right, Joe, thanks. I should have read the event details. Lindsay's already taken his final stop. He's good to go. This could be the AM Championship for Lindsay. Santana's going to be crushing this. Kevin really wanted that championship.
Well, hope you like more of a good thing, because it's more side-by-side battling that we just saw as Andra retakes the lead. That time they stayed all the way side by side through Fanyes. It was started by a little bit of checkup from the lap traffic of Dale Green. And Mark Wilson has taken his scheduled stop down in P4 as Cy Andra peels off Jason DeVries. Well, wow, DeVries is, let's see, how many laps in?
He went one longer the first time, so this really isn't. Well, it's another long one, but it's not.
So he's able to do 2 long stints, so he's making himself extra safe. Huh. Fascinating stuff here.
But what'll be interesting, we can pick up Young right now, because this is the guy in relationship to Andra. Andra just, oh my gosh, it takes forever to get to the pit box.
Yeah, Mike Young is currently coming out of Stavelo, which is way away.
Andra's still not in his box yet.
Right on board with the third place driver. I believe this should be a fight for second place potentially. It's been hanging on to both Andra and DeVries for much of this race. And Andra's just now getting to his box.
Young through the bus stop. And this will be a full stop. He's got to take a full load of fuel. There's no short fill in here. He'll need all he can get.
While Young around La Source, Andra still stationary. He's got to get going soon here because you got a ways to get up to speed up the hill. He's now out in the pit lane, but he is definitely going to be overtaken. There he goes right on by Mike Young, easily clearing Jason DeVries. Excuse me, Cy Andra.
Andra had a pretty good stop too. He was only in the box for 20 seconds. So that means DeVries is also going to have a good one when he gets there.
Young in there for only 18 and a half, I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Actually, DeVries is already in. He's hit pit lane for his final stop, making the fuel saving look easy. I can report as well in the battle for third in the LMP1 championship, Daniel Gralty has about 33 seconds up to Lionel Duprat. Duprat's been running laps at about 2 flat and maybe barely into the 159s lately. Gralty, 157, 159, 159. So Gralty is hustling. He's trying to run him down, but he's got 25 minutes. So he's going to have to do more than a second a lap, or better than a second a minute, rather. Now, despite Young jumping Andra, Cy has got the legs. He doesn't just have the legs, he's in a rocket ship, and he's already passed.
DeVries just hits his box right now. These guys going through the bus stop. That's about where it was last time.
Having to weave their way around the car of Chris Pence. You see the likes of Jason DeVries stationary, our current champion now. DeVries is out. Is this far enough ahead? Andra just hitting Eau Rouge now. DeVries up the Kimmel straight. I think he's clear. I think DeVries has got them both. And now our LMP2 leaders have hit the pit lane.
This is closer than you think. Gerard and Smith only separated by about 2.5 seconds. Billy Smith, we haven't been giving him a lot of love on screen, but he's been hanging in there, putting the pressure on Gerard.
However, the driver that he's fighting for the championship lead, Scott McGarvey, does not pit this time. He keeps going. And as it stands right now, Scott McGarvey still looking pretty good. Because all he has to do is finish in 5th, I believe, wasn't it? Actually, he has to finish 5th or better. Is that correct? Let me double check on the points here.
Yeah, and he's got Pence. Pence is down there in 5th. Alex Ellis is retired,
so he's won the championship.
Yeah. Assuming he
we
doesn't
believe
pick up any penalty points.
This is true. This is true. but by our estimation, and this is unofficial, Scott McGarvey is your LMP1 or LMP2 champion this season with let's see, is this correct? A single win, I want to say it is.
Yeah, he's big on podiums.
Unreal.
Mama McGarvey better clear some space on the trophy case at home because the boys are bringing home some hardware.
2 champions in the same year. That is incredible. Syondra is trying to run down DeVries because he just set the fastest lap of the race with those fresh tires. It is now 2 seconds between himself and the number 19 car. If you're just joining us again, Andra cannot win the championship at this point. DeVries clinched it last round, but there is something to be said about having a psychological edge when you go over to the next season.
Let's go to LMP2 leaders here. They're both out of the pits. The interval as smallest as it has been for the entire race since they went green. 1.7 seconds. Gerard just worked around Ryan Huff, but here comes Billy Smith II.
We're watching, well, who is technically our leader. That was Scott McGarvey, who should effectively be the leader. Is Jason Gerard, currently sitting in second. But yes, only 2 seconds between himself and Smith. Smith had to get by the likes of Ryan Huff. That might have cost him a little bit of time.
But he can see Gerard for the first time in this race as they head down into the bus stop. But he's still got 21 minutes to get there.
Wondering how Billy's going to feel after the season. It's been so long since his championship, back when they had the Cadillac as GTD class. I want to say this is the closest he's come to winning it all again.
He picked up enough wins that season to last him all the way to season. It's like he had them in the bank. He's been using them up. There is McGarvey, unless Monica's in.
Yep, that is our leader in the GTE class. Coming in for his final stop. That hands it over to Bradley Haley.
Simonic now on pit road trying to get his final stop completed. Bradley Haley trying to build a little bit of a gap now to see if he can maybe try and hold off or find a way to close that gap between him and Simonic. And then, of course, there's Leif Peterson. We got to see what he's able to do when all these other drivers come down pit road. McGarvey, of course, no worries for him. He's clinched up this championship for the most part. Let's see, Bradley Haley now is coming out of Pouan. Let's see where, if Simonic has just come off pit road, he has.
Peterson just into La Source right now.
But I wonder if this could mean potentially a podium for Peterson by this strategy. Right now he's about waiting for my timing and scoring to catch up here. Make sure that the timing is right between the cars because they've still got Cancian between them. And it's looking like 21 seconds from Simonic to Peterson.
Well, if there's any track that you could do with one pit stop less than your competition, this is the track you want to do it at.
Absolutely.
With that long pit lane.
Haley's coming by pit entry now, but he's going to elect to stay out. In fact, he could stay out all the way until we believe the last 2 or 3 laps.
McGarvey, he decides to stay out as well. See who else maybe decides to come down pit road. Ryan Huff is the next as far as lead a lap in the GTE field. He's now coming up to the bus stop. He decides to stay out another lap. But that battle for LMP1 right behind him is heating up, back up again.
Yeah, didn't take Andra long, did it?
Nope, he's gotten to the back of Syondra. Both of them have taken their final stop. We hope, at least. I'm sure they hope, too. So these final 19 minutes that you see, it's going to be between who can be at the front of this pair when the checkered flag falls. And based on what we've seen, I really don't know if you could say either of them is a sure thing.
Oh, no, Mike Young's got a real good chance of winning this one. just to stay on the track.
A little bit of side-by-side action up to the braking, out of the Kemmel straight into Lacombe. Ooh, sticks his nose in. Keeps making DeVries work for it, but Andra can't make it stick. Another defensive move down into Rivage as Jason DeVries takes to the inside, late on the brakes for Andra. Long way around. Maybe gives him the lead. He's going to have to carry the speed off, and no, they come together again! And this time, Jason DeVries makes sure to get back to the front just before they have to lap the likes of Christopher Sherburne.
I wonder if the amount of incidents has got to take a little bit of the fizz out of the soda of Andra. I mean, they got to be stacking up. You can't keep racing like this and still not go to the ether.
At this point, yeah, at least a few of those have to be 4Xs. So they, even if all of them count as 4Xs, they are now up to, along with all their off tracks, somewhere in the realm of 28 to 30.
Scott McGarvey is in from the lead in the LMP2s. Jason Girard just getting to the bus stop right now. 1.9 seconds ahead of Billy Smith, who tries he might, cannot do anything with the interval. Scott McGarvey is going to get passed by both of them.
Our leaders side by side through the bus stop once again. And they're still going to be side by side as they exit off the corner towards La Source. It's DeVries to the inside. Once they hit the brakes, down for the hairpin. How cautious are they going to start to be? Oh! Was there contact?
I think maybe a little bit of netcode might have saved them on that one, because they kind of like a Star Trek transporter malfunction there. They were kind of intermixed.
Andra definitely went off track for that one, though. So that was another incident point for him for sure, at the very least. Kind of makes me wonder if these two were just saying, who cares about the incident points? Let's have fun until we disappear.
Who's going to be out here longest? Yeah.
A little bit of a flash of the headlights for the lap traffic as DeVries tries to get by Stephen McGarvey. Still waiting for that second stop on a number of those drivers in GTE. Haley, McGarvey, Huff, Hill, Kanchin, Peterson, Ijere. Of course, Peterson we don't expect to be in a second time based on what we saw earlier. Still more action. We can't get away from this. DeVries goes up the inside into Fanye's trying to overtake Andra. And I think he's got it.
I don't know if we can go there. I just got to report that Young and Gralty are nose to tail now for the final podium spot here. Hey, everyone take a look at that one too. Yeah.
No, Gralty's multiple laps down, actually.
Oh, that's right.
But Gralty, 20 seconds back from Duprat. That's 10 seconds in the last 10 minutes. So he's gaining. He's doing what's needed. Again, he has to pass Duprat to make sure that he doesn't lose third in the championship to Young, or at least tie for third in the championship with Young. We don't know who wins the tiebreak, but we need to look that up. Guessing since neither of them won, it'll be the most second places.
Just to finish up the story on the pit stops in the LMP2s, Scott McGarvey did come out in third. He's about 13 seconds back of Billy Smith, who remains about 2 seconds back of Jason Girard.
Here comes another run, but they've got to get by Billy Smith and maybe send it 3 wide. You can see the green LMP2 there. Just enough space up the Kimmel straight. Deeper on the brakes. Oh, big bobble from Jason DeVries, and has to collect the car together just as the likes of Billy Smith brakes to stay out of him.
His teammate almost got into the back of him there.
I don't believe they're teammates, are they?
Oh, well, maybe not. That's my rods and cones.
I was just going to say, if you're thinking it's the same color, that's green and yellow. So they're 2 different colors out there.
What's a race without me doing that at least once, huh?
All right, Sheldon Rosenbaum taking what I think is his second stop. Both he and Pence at the same time. Don't believe, not seeing any issues between them, so this looks scheduled. So they work their way around the pit lane hairpin. You can see just how narrow it is through there. I wonder if they could petition iRacing and maybe scoot those jersey barriers a little bit to the left. It's not on the racing line.
I like it just like it is. I want
Dave Hill now has Simonic on the back of him. However, Hill has not pitted his second time. Simonic has.
Be a matter of time to see what happens. Can Simonic decide whether or not to go ahead and pass him before Hill makes his pit stop, or will he be patient knowing that Hill has to make a pit stop and just run right behind him?
Oh, and Bradley Haley taking his last stop.
It'll be quick. He'll have to hustle. I think Simonic will get him.
But McGarvey stays out.
Yeah, right now, Simonic's coming through Stavilo. Bradley Haley is just going through the hairpin. Not sure that he's far enough along.
No, it would not. It would have to be a major issue for Simonic in order to even have a shot or to lose this lead by the most part. Bradley Haley still on making his way to his pit box right now as he's coming up into the second half of pit road.
Not sure who that was that we saw the puff of smoke. Yeah, might have blown his motor. So, yeah, that's a case where they were... Sometimes that happens while you're repairing the car in iRacing. I'd like to ask them why it does that every once in a while, but regardless, not sure if we're going to see him back as he's been in there a long time. Simonic looking to dispense with Hill because it might be holding him up. Actually, is Haley out ahead of him?
It looks like it. He might be able to get out.
Ooh, but he doesn't have the speed.
Well, he's still got a little bit of a gap right now. This could give that shot for Bradley Haley, maybe, to take this fight to Alex Simonic. As they go down the Kemmel Straight, it is now under 1.8 seconds separate the two right now. This could be the back for the lead if we see if McGarvey and Huff come down pit road.
Okay, I think I found the difference. It wasn't Hill. Look at the time in the box. 15 seconds for Simonic, 10 for Haley.
Yep. Oh, bite your tongue, Soup. Do not say that Haley didn't take enough fuel. I won't say it because he knows what he's doing.
Did Simonic take too much?
Well, that's a good question.
Is it the other way around?
Let's compare it to some of the other guys that took 2 stops. 15 seconds for Simonic, another 2-stopper, 15 seconds for Mole.
So yeah, that does look more in favor of Haley being short. Which McGarvey?
This would be the GTE Stephen McGarvey.
All right.
And what'll be more important for us is how long is his stop actually going to be? Because that'll give us an indication on whether Haley was short or Simonic was long.
Now the lead changed hands, but this time Andra was very slow down the hill. He's fast at the bottom of the hill, and he's going to try to take it back through Fanier. He almost drifts in the side of DeVries. Oh, my goodness. You're going to need an abacus to count up all the incident points these guys have. Ahead of them, that's Leif Peterson. The lap traffic going to let them through. Stephen McGarvey now hitting his pit stall. So that hands it over to Ryan Huff, who's yet to take his second stop. There's Bradley Haley.
He's coming right by him right now.
It's going to be a big gap. They're well past McGarvey.
All right, McGarvey tends me to think that Haley's okay. McGarvey stopped about 11 seconds. Much closer what Haley did than what Simonic did. So maybe Simonic did take too much.
They're also a lot closer to the finish, so maybe it's a case of being able to estimate a little bit easier how many laps it'll be.
And you don't necessarily have to fill it up all the way on your middle stop. Possibly Simonic might have short-filled the first time, had to take a little bit more the second time.
Painful moments here for DePratt and Peralty. Both have to take a third stop because of their incidents. Jay Ray as well, coming in for his last we've given Shane Hunter screen time, but Taylor, it's usually for the leaders lapping him, so let's give him a little bit of battle action.
Yes, indeed. He's battling now with Tim McLeish. Well, actually, looking at it right now, it looks like 11th. Yep, it is between the two right now. Sorry about timing the score. I was a little messed up as well. But Shane Hunter doing battle with Tim McLeish right now as they're going up. Looks like to be right out of Stavelot, heading towards Blanchimont. Has a little bit of lap leaders coming through of the LMP1 traffic. But Tim McLeish doing a great job so far. Shane Hunter, of course, I have to give him credit because he's been having to dodge all the LMP1 traffic that comes by him at some of the most inconvenient places almost. But doing a great job working his way up through the field in 14th right now. As we now have our leader in the GTE, Ryan Huff, come down pit road. This is going to be the key thing. Let's see how close. And as Haley's in the bus stop, this is going to give the lead right back over to Bradley Haley. But we are going to have a battle for the GTE lead. Bradley Haley and Alex Simonik. This will be your two new leaders that are going to be doing battle here with 7 minutes left on the clock.
Around the source, the green car is Haley. The blue car is Simonik. They overtake Huff, who's still yet to get to his stall. They were racing McGarvey. McGarvey is miles behind them.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, McGarvey might be able to get that third position. I want to see about Leif Peterson as well. See how he is. I'm sure he's able to get a top 5. By the looks of it, no, I don't think so. He might be able to get 6, though. So that would be a full time. And Robert.
Let's go back up on Haley and Simone, because in a minute, and it won't may not even be a minute, they're going to meet the other two guys that are putting on a battle, Andre and De Vries.
Yeah, these LMP1 cars catch up incredibly fast. So even though they're a couple corners away, that's narrowing very, very quickly. So how are they going to deal with a battle for the lead while they're battling for the lead? And right on board with the car in P1 side, Andre, the number 24. The bottom of Wuhan. So how many laps are we going to get, though? Are we going to get an extra one potentially when we get to the end?
Boy, look at as we look at De Vries back there waiting for this opportunity. Wait, look at Andre be patient too.
And De Vries was as well. He didn't really try to flirt his way around the other side of those cars. So they're both going to stay in order. It is still Cy leading the LMP1s and Haley leading the GTE class. And I can report that, did Gralty get more damage? Gralty's been in a long time. And this is going to scupper his chances to try and take this third place. Now, he'll still be in 6th, and there still will be a tie between himself and Young. What happened here? Checking to see if he hit anything or anyone, and I'm not seeing anything. Well, we've got to... I hope he'll come in and talk to us after the race, because I'm really curious when he was running down to Pratt why he decided to come and stay in the pits on his final stop.
Here comes Simonik, side by side.
Yes, they're going to go side by side into Lacoombs right now. Haley's got the inside line, but not for long, as we see Simonik now have the inside line as they make the run up to Malmedy. It is still going to be Simonik holding off. He can be able to hold him off now as they make the run to Rivage. We see Simonik, no, look to the inside. Who's going to be braver? It's going to be Haley holding him off right now. Both of them hugging that inside line as best they can, try to get the best run off corner exit through No Name. Simonik still cannot find a way to get by Bradley Haley as they make the run to Pouan.
We were looking at the battle in the LMP1s there as we follow in that. Two good battles going on. Boy, Simonik did everything he could get that done.
Staying right with him. Simonik and Alex are both basically doing this for pride at this point. Although I guess you could say that Haley looking to improve his position over Darling, trying to get as many points as possible to wind up in that second place.
A little bit, trying to find a way. stop though. We have some LMP1 cars coming by right quick. Bradley Haley though doing a great job, a little bit of fuel strategy, and as well as faster pit time gives him this opportunity.
Apologies, a little bit of a technical problem with Taylor there. As we watch these two fight, let's check in on Leif Peterson. Now, before the first pit stops, where was he exactly in the field? Because right now he's sitting in 5th. He's 6 seconds back from Ryan Huff, so not likely he'll run him down, but he's 20 seconds ahead of Dean Mole. So this one stop isn't going too bad, but it doesn't look like he'll really net him anything newsworthy in terms of results.
That was going great till he ran out of fuel, which is kind of the pitfall of your one-stop strategy.
Yeah, that's true. He probably would have been ahead at least of Huff. McGarvey, I don't think so. That's another 20 seconds up the road. Down to 2 minutes to go. We're almost going to have to start watching our leaders to see when they're crossing the line and how many laps exactly we're going to get. Back to our GTE leaders. Haley with a run up to Lacombe. We saw this last time, but he's not able to stay beside him. This time he gets chopped off at the second apex as Bradley Haley denies Simonic. And side by side now with De Vries and Andre. Did they come together again?
Yep. That was De Vries going off on his own and picking up more points.
They did make contact. I went back and looked at it. They did come together.
They certainly did. Andre got into the right rear of De Vries.
We're going to take a look at the replay. I'll keep an eye and see what happens here in real time because they're getting close once again. But yeah, you're going to see, I think Andre just washes out a little bit and catches him. If they're side by side right now, and actually they made more contact.
Again.
I know we're on replay right now. Here as we come back live, and he's squeezing him now. He is intentionally trying to get him all the way over to the edge of the track. I would not believe it if both these cars managed to get to the checkered flag here. They will get, let's see, they crossed it a little over a minute because the timing line was back after the source, and they're doing 2-minute lap time. So this is the white flag. This is for all the marbles.
We look at this one. We look at this battle. I can report that Haley's still ahead of Simonic by a car length. This is one we want to watch right now.
Side by side through all 3 apexes. A slight nose ahead for Sai Andra. This might not be for the championship, but this really is the story of almost the entire season. These two fighting for wins. Through most of the races, they almost come together yet again. Coming out of no name, Jason De Vries finally slips ahead. Sai Andra closes in as they break for the corner. Can he get it away from him? Can he take it away from the champion and deny him the last 2 victories of the season? Jason De Vries still holds him off through Fanyes. Now they come up to Stavelo, hounding him at every corner, poking and prodding to find his way through. Who is close on fuel as well? Is it going to be tight for that? Off track once again for Sai Andra coming through Stavelo. That nets him yet another incident point, but he's got the speed. Coming up to Blanchimont. He's going to have to go the long way around. He's going to have to work hard for this. There's no grip. He goes all the way off track. He's going to have the inside. They come together. They're off track once again. He's gonna slide all the way across, and he hits it. He turns upside down. Sai Andra is gonna be able to take the win as Jason De Vries is left stuck like a turtle. Sai Andra is your winner here today.
Meanwhile, while that was going on, Simonic was able to get his way around Bradley Haley and has now opened up a 2-car length lead there.
And that's going to be very close to our lead for the LMP2 win. As we watch this, here comes Jason Girard, going to finish it off for the LMP2s with what we believe is his 9th victory for the season. We'll switch back to the GTEs as soon as he crosses the line through the bus stop for Jason Girard. Victory for the number 02 today here in Spa.
Side by
Meanwhile,
side. Big touch.
They also come together. Simonic is slightly ahead of Haley. As they come to the line, it's going to go to Simonic, I believe. Yes, indeed. Simonic takes the win. Wow. Unbelievable. 2 finishes coming down to a side-by-side fight at the end of the lap. Both of them coming to blows. We've seen a lot of crazy finishes here in Autobahn. I don't think we have ever seen anything quite like that.
I'm surprised that Andra was able to get to the end on incidents. I really was.
I was too. I thought as soon as they went off in Blanchimont, I thought both of them were going to be done. Let's look at that one more time. We've really got no battles left here at the end as cars stream across. So let's see. Looking for De Vries and Andra here on the replay. And then after this, we could maybe watch a little bit more of that battle between Simonic and Haley. We're getting word from them that their incident points was right on the limit. He thought he had the inside. He did have the inside, if anything. And just could not get the car turned back over. Well, I guess there's no way he'd get the car turned back over. And to be fair, Andra slowed. Andra wanted to let him back by, but he just didn't know that he was on his lid. And I guess eventually he figured it out and just continued on. So we're going to watch the ending now between the GTE leaders.
This heats up going down into the bus stop and then coming out of the bus stop.
This looks like, coming into Fanyes right here that we're seeing. That's Billy Smith splitting them for a moment. I wonder if he took a look at his F3 box in the middle of that and went, oop, I need to get out of here in a hurry. Battle for the lead. Here's where it starts to erupt, Bill.
Now remember, Haley had already been past this lap, so he's trying to get it back.
Catching him, gaining up to Blanchimont, where the wake of the car, probably not easy to stay behind him, but he does it so well. And then, as they come up to the bus stop, he tries to brake as late as possible, and he does actually get his nose in, but it's off the corner that he could not get the power down. And Simonic ekes across the line, inches ahead of him. To tell you what that was incident-wise, well, actually, we'll talk about it after the break. We need to collect ourselves here, and we also need to collect some data on them so that we can really give it to you. We'll come back after this with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. And on screen, you're going to see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. This was the final round in Season 7 here for the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sportscar Challenge, and what was one of the wildest finishes we've ever seen in the series history. Andra takes the win, but it's Mike Young who comes in second. It didn't look like it was going to be that way there at the end. It was Mark Wilson who managed to get himself a third place. He's probably just as shocked at that. And Jason DeVries comes home fourth because he couldn't finish the last lap. He finished on his lid, coming to a wreck at the final corner, tangling with Andra for the victory. Lionel Duprat is going to get fifth. Then we have our winner in the GTE class, LMP2 class, Jason Gerard, finishing up there in front with Billy Smith coming home second in LMP2s. And our champion unofficially in the LMP2s is Scott McGarvey, finishing eighth. Then it's Sheldon Rosenbaum taking home ninth, and that takes us to our winner in the GTE class. Alex Simonik takes yet another victory here today in the final round. Bill?
Bradley Haley was first to the white flag in the GTEs, but Simonik got by him on that last lap. Haley tried to get it back coming out of the bus stop. Could not do. We'll have to settle for second. Stephen McGarvey, the more handsome of the McGarvey brothers, wins the championship down in the GTEs, coming home in third ahead of Ryan Huff and Leif Peterson. Dean Mole and Dave Hill will have a little Mole-Hill combination down there in 15th and 16th. Daniel Gralty is the driver in the LMP1s, comes in 17th overall. Robert Cancion in 18th, Paul Lindsay and Emmanuel Agiri in 20th.
Molehill puns. Keep digging yourself deeper there. Tim McLeish finishes 21st overall with Shane Hunter 22nd. Then it's Sheldon Woloshin in 23rd. We've got Dale Green coming home 24th with Christopher Sherburne 25th. And we start to get to cars that DNF'd. Chris Pence, Kevin Santana, Mark Kudrowski, Alex Ellis, Matt Owens, Scott Corbin, and Alan Hasebeck round out the field of 32 today. I believe we've got our winner in the LMP1s, to talk to. Andra here to talk to us. How did you wind up with as few incident points as you did? Because we were counting 4 X's every time you and DeVries came together. We thought for sure that you two were going to disappear.
Well, you'll be surprised to know that most of those were 0 X's or maybe 1 X's if one of us went off track afterwards. But I don't think we had a single 4X contact in the entire race. They were just light sort of love taps on each other. I don't think any of us picked up damage from any of the contact we got. It was just, clean racing. We just leaned on each other a little bit, and I think I'm still shaking. Like, honestly, I need to get my thoughts together.
So I haven't got a chance to really read through if there's been any chatter between you post race. Was it a friendly battle? Were you guys happy after all that, or was that legit fierce, bloody blows that we were seeing?
I think in the car it was legit and fierce, but I think overall it was kind of like we knew that the championship was over. This was for fun to put a show on for the people watching, so I think it was a little bit of an exhibition race. That's what we treated it as, and I think that came across. But I think we're going to shake hands and walk away from it, I think.
Well, you might have to answer to some of the other class drivers, because you certainly took the cameras away from some stuff a few times there. So you've got 2 victories here in the final 2 rounds, even though you didn't beat DeVries to the championship. When we have the prototypes, the HPDs as the LMP1s next season, do you think this psychological victory can help carry your speed, your momentum into next season?
Oh, absolutely. I think if LMP1 is probably one of the most sort of, cerebral cars you can drive on iRacing, in the sense that you're not always focused 100% on driving, but you have to manage so many more things other than just your hands and your feet, that I think any other car should feel easy by comparison, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, we finish up at Spa, and we have about 2 or 3 weeks break. Is that enough time for you to catch your breath? We're coming back quick.
Oh, I think this next month is going to be one hell of a ride. For one, I think we have the Neo 24-hour coming up pretty soon, so that's on my plate, and then start of the Autobahn season, and a couple of other things that I've got lined up. It's going to be a hell of a month.
Well, we're looking forward to having you guys back and continuing this fantastic rivalry between you and Jason. Congratulations on the win today.
Thank you so much.
That was Cy Andra, the Wyvern driver, up at the front in the final 2 rounds. Next up, it looks like Bill is going to have a little bit of a group interview. He's got both first and second in the GTE class with us.
Commentator rulebook says to start with the winner first, so I will. Alex Simonic, congratulations. Boy, you were behind taking the white flag. You were able to get around and hang on to it.
Yeah, that first pit stop, I put in less fuel than Brian, which got the 8 or 9 second gap, and then that was quickly shortened by some contact in the chicane after Puhan. So I knew that I either needed to short fuel or keep pushing, and I decided to keep pushing, which ruined my tires, and then I decided to take more fuel than I needed at the stop.
Let me go down and talk to Bradley Haley. Bradley, you had to be a little surprised to find yourself in that position after that final stop.
Yeah, after Phillip Island, I kind of thought maybe Alex might short fill because I short filled it in Phillip Island. So the way the temperature was going and the way the tires were going, I figured I'd do the shortest stop at the end. And so yeah, it was it was close.
Now, neither one of you get the championship, so that goes to Stephen McGarvey. But let's go with Alex. You happy with the way your season went?
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I guess this is the most fun that I've had in Autobahn for this last race. Hopefully next season. Actually, no, Brad's not doing it next season. So hopefully we can find more competition for season 8.
Yeah, I hate to ask the same question to go into Bradley Haley because, my goodness, finishing second in the championship, you're getting really good at that.
Yeah, well, I just like to keep things consistent. This year it was tough. I kept, I'd struggle on the brakes on the Ford. Just like today, I had that spin or half spin off the brakes. So it took a long time to get used to it and haven't had any practice. So that's also a result of that spin today. But yeah, it's been a fun season. I learned a lot with the Ford and setting it up. And, it's good battling Alex because he's a step above. So if I can stay close, I'm pretty happy.
Well, guys, GSRC will be back for next season. And Bradley, if you don't come back to this one, check the GSRC website. Find a series that we're broadcasting because we'd love to watch you race.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'd probably just take a season off, please some of the family members, and
there you go.
Come back in the wintertime. So I appreciate all the stuff you guys have done. It's been fantastic.
All right, we'll look forward to your return in a couple seasons. There you have it. Your winner today, Alex Simonic. Bradley Haley, your second place in the points. Good luck, guys. Joe?
Up next, we have one of our champions by our math, Paul Lindsay. As far as we can tell, is your AM championship winner. And, well, you know how much our math is worth. But, Paul, this whole season long, you and Kevin have just been neck and neck. How does it feel to finally take it home today?
Oh, I'm super psyched. Thanks, Joe, for having me on. Yeah, it was a great time. I'm totally psyched. I didn't think I could pull it off, but, Kevin ran into some problems during the race, which I was sorry to hear about, but here I go. Here I am.
At what point did you become aware of his issues? Usually you and he seem to be actually fighting each other on track even most of the season.
Yeah, I planned on just running my race and it was all going well. And then I went in for my pit, and on the way out, I blew pit exit and had to stop and go. So I knew all was lost. He was right behind me going in. And unfortunately, Kevin had a problem in the bus stop and got into trouble there, and I cruised home for the win and the AM championship.
So next season, they're going to rearrange how the AMs are decided a little bit. We understand it's going to be a little bit like the FIA rankings with the gold, silver, and bronze. Do you want to stay in the AM status, or now that you've won the championship, would you like to be bumped up?
No, I'll probably go. Yeah, I'd be happy to be bumped up. I mean, when you compete against guys like Simonic and those guys, you're not going to get the win, but being able to get this was great. I'm so pleased I did. But leave it for others after this.
All right, good man. Well, we look forward to seeing you getting the big boy points, and, well, we look forward to seeing you next season.
Thanks for having me on, Joe.
That was Paul Lindsay, your champion in the GTE AM class. So up next, well, we thought we were going to talk to DeVries. Let's see if we can get his attention, because he was waiting for us, and then he left for a moment. So we'll try and tap him on the shoulder, get him mic'd up again.
He knew I was up on the rotation. He didn't want those hard-hitting questions. I was gonna drill him like Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes, but I guess
sure, of course. But Jason, of course, our champion for this season, so we would like to get to talk to him. Looks like he does not have his mic working today, so we won't get to talk to the champion, unfortunately. I really wanted to hear his thoughts on that ending incident for the race. That's going to close us up for the season, and we want to thank a few people before we go. Once again, a huge thanks goes out to John Ulmer and all the guys that help him organize and run this series, the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sportscar Challenge. And a thank you goes out to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. You can see those listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Bill, Taylor, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel. We're on Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. If you head on over to our YouTube page, there's a big red button that says subscribe. Make sure and hit that, and you won't miss a moment here on GSRC. We don't have the location of the first race yet, but we do know that the season will be back on March 11th. And again, that'll be at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, like always, as we switch up the classes once again, but look forward to another incredibly competitive season. In the meantime, enjoy a little bit of a break. We have other series listed on the screen. Make sure and mark those down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.